Hello and welcome to the Enterasys 5-minute tutorial series. My name is Mark Pearce, and in this session we're going to take another look at network security. Network security remains a key issue for all businesses, irrespective of vertical market. Many people talk about using intrusion prevention solutions and/or internal firewalls to protect themselves from internal attacks and threats. One major issue with this is that it's entirely possible for the attacker to move to a different switch port on the network, or indeed connect to a different wireless access point and try again, as opposed to being completely isolated and preventing further attacks. If nothing else, this causes a huge administrative overhead for the IT security team, and in a worst case scenario, the attacker will eventually be successful, causing loss and damage to the company's balance book and reputation. The problem is really a function of the way that IPS works. In traditional IPS solutions, the point of detection and point of enforcement are the same. They are an interface on the IPS appliance. This allows the IPS to detect and stop the attack, but unfortunately, it also leaves the attacker connected to the network and allows him or her to try other attacks. If an attacker has enough time to gather information and try different techniques, they will eventually succeed. So a better approach will be to distribute the enforcement point to the network access edge points. This is what at Enterasys refer to as Distributed IPS. Distributed IPS still detects the attack and drops the attack packet at the IPS appliance, but it will also automatically identify the port or wireless access point the attacker is attached to and quarantine them, or, as we will shortly demonstrate, by also deploying network access control as part of this solution, we could blacklist the attacker's username and/or MAC address. If they subsequently change locations and plug into another port, they will still be blacklisted and will not be able to mount another attack. Network security needs to be built in everywhere rather than bolted on somewhere, and the Enterasys advanced security software delivers fully distributed protection from both internal and external threats, without having to deploy appliances on every single port. Rather than just telling you that a threat exists, we make it easy to immediately remove the threat from any multi-vendor network without impacting performance. I would now like to hand over to Kevin Conway, one of our senior security architects. Kevin is in the Enterasys Enterprise Laboratory, where he's going to demonstrate just some of the capabilities of the Distributed IPS solution. Kevin.
Thanks, Mark. Today I'm going to demonstrate the integration between three Enterasys security applications, namely IPS, Network Access Control, and a unique Enterasys solution that provides distributed IPS capability across the whole enterprise. An illustration of this solution is shown in the schematic. In the demonstration, we will use an IPS sensor to detect a security event, in this case a bad web request to a server. Once detection has taken place, a notification will be sent to our distributed IPS solution. This solution is provided by the Automated Security Manager, which is commonly referred to simply as ASM. The role of ASM is to automatically and rapidly locate the physical switch port into which a rogue client is connected, as well as other associated information. Knowledge of the port, switch and MAC address of the rogue client can then be sent to Network Access Control, which will initially blacklist the client and then subsequently force the client to re-authenticate. Re-authentication will of course fail as the client is now blacklisted. Let's start first by looking at the IPS. You will see in the left-hand frame the configured sensors, both network and host-based, and in the right-hand frame you can see the status of all configured components. The sensor that we will be using is configured with the standard IPS signature library, and within this library we will use a signature to detect a fake NIMDA worm event. The IPS solution is also configured to send a notification to the Automated Security Manager by using an SNMP inform. Within the Automated Security Manager application, we are going to change the operation mode from search only to search and respond, because we want a proactive action to be taken. Secondly, we configure the details of the proactive action via the configuration window. In this window, you can see on the left-hand side the parameters over which you have control, and on the right-hand side you can configure which network devices are to be part of the search scope. The action to take is in the rule definition window, which is in the bottom left-hand corner of the window. The rule that we will use is the security policy violation rule. The details of this rule show that network access control will be notified, a notification will also be sent to the Security Operations Center, the action will be in place for 1 minute, the undo action is to remove the blacklist entry. In the client screen we can see a constant ping to an FTP server and a web browser from which we will force a bad request. The request is simply located in the favourites list, which we will now activate. Upon notification of the event, the Automator Security Manager will locate the point of entry into the network and send the information together with the MAC address to the network access control. These details can be seen within the Automator Security Manager main window. Back in the client screen, you can see the ping request timing out, and any subsequent browser requests will present the user with a message informing them that they have been quarantined. It is worth remembering at this point that no network access will be granted whatsoever. This is in comparison with the less effective approach of simple port shutdown or ACL configuration on the access switch alone. This concludes the demonstration of the power of a distributed IPS solution. And now back to you, Mark.
Tremendous, thanks Kevin. So, unlike traditional IPS solutions that cannot provide critical threat identification, location, containment and removal capabilities, the Enterasys Distributed IPS solution removes the source of the attacker's access to the network and, if required, can also reconfigure network devices from other vendors, including the likes of Cisco, HP. The Enterasys Distributed Intrusion Prevention System is the industry's first comprehensive IPS solution to cost-effectively address real-world operational requirements by identifying a vulnerability, threat or security event, mitigating an attack by dropping the packets, reporting the details of the attack, locating the exact physical source of the attack, and by containing the threat by removing the source from the network. With the Enterasys Distributed IPS solution, we truly have entered the age of self-securing networks. If you want more information on this topic or any others, please visit the Enterasys website at www.enterasys.com. We look forward to seeing you again in the future. Thank you.